The last couple of years have taught me a lot, and one of the lessons I've learned is these experts who kind of fall behind their degrees and where they went to school, et cetera, et cetera. And so they have this false layer of trust, like, oh, okay, this guy must be smart. He has a PhD, went to Harvard, yeah, yeah, yada, yada, yada. And I got to be the dummy because he's telling me inflation is going down, and but prices keep going up astronomically as inflation's coming down. What the heck is going on? He must have a doctorate, so he's got to know. All these doctors of education or economics at the Fed must know what they're talking about. I must be the dum dum. But in reality, the government lies to you for a reason. So if they're lying about consumer price inflation or underestimating it, and all you got to do is look at your grocery bill. We did Walmart pickup back in 2020, and we looked at the same prices or the same items today. And over the last 3 years, inflation's gone up at Walmart by 75% on the groceries that we bought in 2020. But the government's saying that inflation was only 9%, 3%. It's going down. So all these doctors are telling you, these doctors of economics are telling you that inflation's cooling and everything's fine. Look with your eyes. What are you seeing? People can't afford anything. Okay. The middle class, which is already your average person who couldn't afford $1,000 emergency in the United States. Now, how are they doing with inflation? They're not doing well. Their incomes are not keeping up. I was looking at Airbnbs the other day, and this is just a sign of the Airbnb bubble. Look at Airbnbs in your area. I highly recommend it. Look to book next week. Look at all the prices. They have a slash through them, and they're like a third of the price they used to be asking. What does that mean? People are not going on vacation. People are not paying money for luxuries like travel. So no matter what the government says about CPI, even if it's cooling and we have disinflation, it doesn't mean we don't have prices going up. It's just not going up at the same rate of the lie of last year of 9%, what have you. So I'm not the only one saying this. Peter Schiff is saying this too. And the question is, who cares? Who cares about what the government inflation number is? Other than these pundits and all this kind of stuff, what matters is in your life, how much is inflation going up? And is your income commensurate with that? And the answer for the majority of people is no. Okay. So why it matters to the government is they index things like Social Security to the CPI that they come out with every year. So they have this appearances of autonomy, right? The Federal Reserve is going to come out with the CPI, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics is going to help them out. And they're going to come, oh, it's 3.2%. That means Social Security goes up 3.2%. But in reality, people are spending 50% more. See how that helps the government? So Peter Schiff said the other day, in recent months, Americans are still struggling with rising prices and they're worried about inflation. It's always the economy. Why is there this dichotomy between people's perception and the official data? Well, here's one for you that blows everyone's mind. Food, because it's volatile, is not in the CPI basket. Now, why would it not be? Does that benefit the government? Yes, it does. And what do the majority of people spend money on? Food to feed themselves. Minor details. So we all remember that fight that they had about the debt ceiling. And so, okay, we're just going to pause it. Remember, Congress's function is to take public dollars and hand them to private hands. Think of the PPP loans, and if it's not your money, you don't worry about how you spend it. And I always remind people, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, like, hey, this is happening in Congress, but this has been going on for 30 years. And I tell people, it ain't gonna change until the system falls apart. It's not gonna change. So if you're one of those people who thinks my political party is going to do better, they're going to raise taxes, they're going to do this, they're going to cut spending here, or whatever, they're not going to make any meaningful change in the debt. It will not happen. So if you understand that, you have to understand that you need to step off the train tracks. You see the train coming and you keep saying it's going to slow down. No, it's coming down the tracks, whether you like it or not. Get off the train tracks, start buying things that the government can't print. That's why I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. But it's not going to stop, and it's not going to end well. So for the reading, U.S. government has added $1 trillion 1 trillion in national debt in just 3 months. So that's on top of the spending they're already doing. It's unbelievable, folks. So there's no silver clouds, no silver lining to this, as Peter Schiff agreed. He says nothing but storm clouds ahead. Um, the one thing no one can predict, including me, is when, right? But I'm no genius, but I understand that if the baseline of the economy is the number of dollars, that's the number, that's wealth. That's how I look at it. If it's a pie and they keep growing the pie of dollars, is your income increasing as a percentage of that pie piece? Is your assets increasing as a percentage of that pie that continues to grow? But typically what happens is the rich get bigger and bigger pieces of that pie because they get the money first, just like in Monopoly. If it was your turn and I'm handing out money every single time, but you get the money first, you get first access to buy the hotel, to buy the assets. And then when it's somebody else's turn, they have to buy it at more expensive prices. The Cantillon effect. So typically when the government raises interest rates, that means people save more because they can get interest on their bank deposits. But that's not resulting in savings. As Peter Schiff says, it's resulting in more spending because America has gotten so used to debt at cheap prices. People, in a way, take more and more risk because money is essentially free. And now all of a sudden, all their interest, their consumer interest is going up. So they never were saving because the government made savers suckers for the longest time, for 20 years plus. And now all these people are on the edge with debt. They leverage everything. And now their debt's getting refinanced at these higher prices. So it's not a function, or so the savings is not happening. People are just spending more on less stuff, as Peter Schiff says. And finally, he says, once you recognize the problem, even though you can't solve it, which we can't, right? It has to collapse. And I don't know when it's going to collapse, but collapse can look like a slow grind down, right? So you just at least have to protect yourself, as I say over and over again on this channel. I just try to remind people that of the math. Okay, they don't have to know every single cross current everywhere in the world, but as we're printing more money and we're not getting more productive, that's going to affect you, and that's why the middle class continues to shrink. So if you don't buy things that the government can't print, you're going to be the sucker at the table who's holding the bag, right? And a lot of pension funds, a lot of retirees are going to be holding that bag of government debt. That's what's happening in the United States today. Let me know if you think the government lies about inflation, because I definitely think they do, because it benefits them. And they'll continue to do it and paint a rosy picture, and the market will react and all this kind of stuff. And it's all theater, folks. It's all theater. Oh, my son decided to join join me down here. Hi. All right. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. See you on the next one. Peace.